But, you know, when Dean came into Paradise and was like the hottest dude to ever walk the planet, people are like, fuck this guy. He comes in, long hair, mustache, living out of van. It was, oh, poor Dean. And boom, followers go up by 500,000 and your rates triple. Now you're a 4-time Bachelor appearance guy. Sorry to rub it in, but you are. We know on season 13, at least I would believe, that you weren't paid. Now, correct me if I'm wrong if you were, but I'm curious, how did those contracts change from show to show, if you're willing to speak about it? And did you leverage it all, the fact that your notoriety and familiar face fame became greater for each show, therefore your price point would have, or at least should have, gone up?
Right. No, in theory, that's absolutely right. So yes, so I did not get paid for Bachelorette. And that was a tricky time too, because Bachelorette, you know, you take a leave of absence from work, you're not getting paid for the time that you're spending on the show. You still have your bills to pay when you're back home. And I got super lucky because my roommates at the time, when I left, even though I thought I was going to be gone for like a couple days, a week tops, they started Airbnb my room out right away. So I didn't have to pay rent, fortunately, while I was gone. And then I got back from the show and I was like struggling for cash, wasn't sure what I was going to do, go back to work. But like, obviously paychecks don't come right away. And then they hit me up and they're like, hey, do you want to do Bachelor in Paradise, this other show? It pays $400 a day. You could be there for up to like 30 days, something like that. So I was like, oh yeah, great. $400 a day, 30 days, $12,000. That's fantastic. And then I start talking to some friends and they're like, well, you should get more money because you're kind of like the guy coming off the show. You're going to be like the most, you know, you're who they want most from your season to go to Paradise, minus like Peter, obviously. And I was like, okay, cool. Pay me $800 a day. And they were like, no, dude, go yourself. Like, we'll pay you $600. And I'm so certain, like, at that point, I was like, out of principle, I just like wanted them to pay. It could have been $1 more, you know, but out of principle, I wanted them to pay me more than they were offering everybody else, just because I thought I was hot for some reason. So they paid me $600 a day for 30 days. And I've heard other people, I can't remember who it was, but I've heard people getting upwards of like $1,000 a day for Paradise. But at the time, you know, like I said, I was struggling for cash because I took 2 months off of work, didn't see a single dollar for those 2 months. So $600 a day for 30 days, 18 grand. Like I'm seeing that and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I would have done this for, you know, $100 a day kind of thing. In my experience, at least, most of the money that comes from going on any type of reality TV show is from the endorsements that follow afterwards.
For sure.
You know, I left Paradise single. Obviously that whole season was pretty complicated for me, but I got a call. I was like doing some event in Canada and the producers were like, hey, we want you to be the Bachelor for us next year. Do you want to do it? In the back of my head, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, I just went through the worst season of my life. Like, I don't even know. I don't want to get like married anytime soon, anything like that.
Right.
But I was like, well, it's too big of an opportunity to pass up. So I said yes. And I think that they offer it to a couple of people every single year. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Send the contract over. So they sent the contract over. It was for, I think it was like 75 grand to be the Bachelor for the season. And I'm sure you probably got something similar to that, right?
So ours was 100. So mine was 100. Nice. And then what they did is they gave 3 contracts and we were all buddies. So we just compared them. So me, Colton, and Blake each had contracts for 100. And knowing that it was going to be between one of us 3, there was actually a thought in my process. I might actually reverse negotiate this. I might, because to your point, the 100K, I'll go get that in one deal after if I'm the Bachelor.
Sure.
So I was thinking about like, I'll take it for 25. I'll take it for 0. I ended up not doing that. I don't think it would have mattered anyway. But to your question, I had to throw that in there.
No, that's a great point. I think that would have been a great negotiating tactic. I talked to a couple other former Bachelors and Bachelorettes, and I was like, hey, like, just so you guys know, like, I'm being considered for this opportunity. Just so I can like kind of price myself into it. What were you guys paid for your cooperation and all that kind of stuff? And 100 seems pretty good. I was pretty happy with 75. And again, like you just said, like anything would have like the money doesn't come from that contract. The money comes from after the fact. So I said yes to it, and obviously they ended up. I think they went with Ari that year instead, which like forever grateful. Obviously, it's kind of led me down this path that I am now with Kaylin. So. And then those other shows were like, I kind of like just stopped caring again. Like I'm not going for the big paycheck that comes from it. So I kind of stopped caring to negotiate so much until the last Bachelor in Paradise season I went on. You got to pay me like $20,000 an episode or a day or something, like some absurd amount. Like,
give me that Chris Harrison contract.
There's so many contestants to pull from that like your presence doesn't really matter to them that much. You know?
No, just a pawn in their game. And it's a great game and one I enjoy watching thoroughly.